Hello, hello, hello. What do you know? What do you know? Big show, big show. Let's go. Here we are. A crazy edition of not even the NFT Action News tonight. It's Dissenter Live. This is Dissenter Live. And my name is LeftHouse. Thank you for joining us. We're sitting here with Rich James. How are you tonight, sir?
Rich James, I am doing very well indeed. Thank you for having me on the show. It's fantastic. I might add that intro. What's that intro all about? It almost gave me epilepsy. It's fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, well, it's like, we're some of the different projects that we've covered here on the show, some of our own Action Family Club card characters you might have seen floating in there. But, we do a lot of coverage of typically we're talking about NFTs, metaverses, play to earn games. Browse to earn sounds very fitting to our community and stuff, so
don't follow the show. I'm actually a very big fan of the show. Very big fan of the show. So
awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, we're down to talk all things kind of like in the crypto space that is pushing the space forward and engaging and interesting, and Dissenter is definitely that. It seems like there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot going on in the technology, and I've watched a couple other YouTubers talk about it. I've read all the stuff. Like, how do you break it down? Where do we begin with this?
Because you've just to step back a little bit, you've already downloaded the browser. Yeah, I think we were talking earlier. You've downloaded the browser, and you felt it was fast. And
I can't believe how fast it was. For real.
Told you.
Yeah, it's real quick.
And let's say shout out to our techs, by the way. They are very brilliant. Nikita Anakiv is our CTO, and his techs are very, very brilliant. But enough of the advertising and marketing. So your question, as I understand it, it can seem to some people that the overall idea and the concept is a little bit complex. It's a little bit kind of difficult to understand on a certain level, particularly
on a certain level. But I mean, to say simply though, I mean, it's in my mind, when it's a crypto browser, you're browsing and you're earning just from looking at the internet. And just like, coming back to sort of my story a little bit, big time gamer. That's why we do talk about a lot of NFT gaming and stuff like that. But once I found like play to earn, once I found like, social medias that where you can earn from, like Steam, that's or Steam It, which is now Hive. I spent a lot of time on Steam It. I was like, why would you even bother playing a game where you're not earning? Why would you even bother browsing where you're not earning? Like there's
bingo.
Yeah,
bingo.
Yes,
but I suppose I would. What I'm here today really to do, if you're going to ask me that question, I understand where people are coming from with what we're doing. Let me give you an example. If you look at the DeFi and the other aspects of our project, kind of in isolation of the basic concept, I can understand why there would be a perception that this is kind of complex and hard to understand. So right. what I'd like to do here today, as you've asked me the question anyway, is kind of break this down to a basic one-liner, an Eli 5 one-liner that everybody can walk away with today and kind of tell their friends and family. Great promotion for us, but also good for the understanding for the community, yours and my community.
Yes,
for that matter. So does that sound like a good thing we're going to try to achieve today? And I'm here to do that. I'm sounding a bit Tony Robbins now.
No. This is cool because like we were actually talking before the show started about this whole concept, and it was like I was like, well, what about browse to earn? And you quickly were like, no, that's like a slogan. We need the one-liner that explains the whole technology of it that puts it all into one. Exactly, and so we're like, we were talking about this, and it's like, all right, well, you said that like from your end, and not to call you out, but you said that this was a failure of communication on your end, right?
I was about to say that if regular users, if everybody doesn't understand it on a very, very simple level, that is a failure of communication on our end, and that means on my end. And that's why I'm here today. I think we've got, didn't you invited me on for a 4-week stint, correct?
Yes, we're gonna do four-part series. We'll do, you know, the one show this week, one next week. Every week we'll do a little talk and break down Dissenter, you know, little by little. You know, we'll cover it in sections here, so
and
we
how
can
does
get the
that
clear
work
understanding.
if there's like a lot of complaints today and they don't want me back? That'd be that, right? Or how does that work?
No way, you're coming back whether they complain or not. Yeah, with that won't happen. Yeah, well, you know, yeah, I'm sure. Knowing what I know about it, I'm sure people will want to continue this conversation and know more for sure.
Well, awesome. So I guess off the back of that, to bring it back to answering your question, look at it like this. Any project, any tech project could claim the same. They could claim, you know, the tech is complex, it's oblique, nothing to see here. We're not going to explain it to you anyway because you won't understand it. And 99% of the time that would be true. But, and this is the point, this is why I'm here today, but where our project is different, and we kind of can't get away with that argument, is simply because fundamental to what I would describe as the digital DNA of the project, of Dissenter, and our business model, is the fact it's user-facing tech. And if it's user-facing tech and just regular users, everybody out there doesn't get it, again, failure of communication on my part. I accept that. You know, I'm putting my hand up. I accept that. And that's what I want to talk through today. So you were just saying earlier, you've downloaded the browser. You're having a look at it. We were talking about this earlier. Yeah. And you think you've got a one-liner that's going to work, right? So go ahead.
Oh no, I'm still, you know, it's hard to put me on the spot for a one-liner. I was thinking, you know, maybe what we need to do, we have a 4-part series here. Okay, maybe it's a contest even, you know, maybe we take in some from the community, see what they say. If anybody can come up with one, maybe we award them with the prize or something week 4.
Yeah. I like that. And that's why this isn't a cop-out. What's going to happen?
And I think, finish what you're saying, but I think I might have a one-liner. But yeah.
Okay, you think you got a one-liner?
Finished, yeah.
What I'm really saying is I'd like to come up with a one-liner today for the how should we put it, the sort of educated crowd we all are here today. As I say, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be our marketing slogan, but I want everyone here today to go away thinking, oh, now I know how to explain it to my friends, family, my grandma, and dog. Quite frankly, it's got to be that simple.
Right, so because I had one, but I'm not even gonna say it because it doesn't encompass all of it. It doesn't encompass
Hey man, the point is nothing's going to encompass all of it. We've got 4 weeks. We got 4 weeks.
Right, we got time.
I want to start with something today and build on that because we're going to get feedback. I'm going to come up with one now because guess what? I should have come up with one by now, and I do. And if you don't think that encompasses everything, guess what? We've got a comment section over on the right. People can comment on that. But I'm going to go with mine. I'm going to go with mine first.
Okay, what do you have?
No, I lost it. I'm joking, man. I'm joking. So let me get to the essence. So what is the concept at its essence? And the concept at its essence is really where we started before we began to build it out. As I've said, if you look at all the features we've got going on and all the updates and all the iterations, I can understand why people are going to look at that and go, whoa, you guys are kind of trying to achieve everything and nothing. And I can understand from that perspective. But if we get it to its essence, what is it we're building and why should everyone care? I want to know what that is. So that will be, what is it? What does it do? And why does it matter? Can we get that in one line, LeftHouse?
What is it? What does it do? And what was the third W?
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
What does it matter? And you've got to go and download this now. Why does it matter? We need all that in one line, or we don't have the Eli 5 line we're looking for, in my opinion. It's a tricky one. It's a rhetorical question for you because I know it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Let's hear it.
I've got one. Has anyone come up with anything in the comments though? Because that'd make my life a lot easier. We got anything?
Yeah, nothing yet. Nothing's coming
Nothing
in
yet.
yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me go with this. Let me go with this. And we can continue to refine that from there. Here is my one-liner for Dissenter. At its essence, Dissenter is a natively blockchain-aware web browser integrated with a custom blockchain, the net effect of which is, for the first time ever, literally the first time in the history of the internet, we give mainstream users access to the blockchain and all of its benefits.
Is that one sentence?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right, let's hear it one more time.
Well, let's simplify it. Let's
Okay.
simplify it. This is all we're doing. All
Yeah.
we're doing is we're building a web browser. Forget the big words.
Right.
We're building a web browser that gives full access to the blockchain for the average user, the man and woman in the street, who can then benefit from all the features and economic advantages of the blockchain. We're just building a web browser that accesses blockchain. That is all. That is all
Yeah.
we're doing.
Okay.
And I guess if your next question would be, so why is that important? Why is that important? I'll tell you why it's important. Because blockchain effectively, I think no one's going to have an argument with this. Blockchain technology, in all its iterations and all the developments that are going on, will form the foundation for Web3. Would that be a fair enough thesis?
100%.
Good. So fine. So how? That's great. That's wonderful. But how are you to get mass adoption without getting the public involved? You're not. That's the definition of mass adoption. So what this technology needs is some way for the public to access it without any effort or any special knowledge. Now, you just told me you've recently downloaded the browser. Was that easy or was that hard?
It was very easy.
Did you feel like you needed specialist knowledge to get on the blockchain?
No, I don't. But then again, I'm on the chain. You know what I mean? Like the language of setting up something in on the blockchain, very natural to me, very easy. I would say, back in 2017, I helped a lot of people get in and set up or whatnot. So much easier now. You know what I mean? Like, I think the language is starting to become more accessible to the mainstream. And this is like, it's right there. You know what I mean? Like there's maybe one step that if you are on the outside of the crypto space coming in that you might be like, oh, I'm not seeing this level of security yet. But other than that, you're right the hell in there within like 2 minutes, if that even, And you just gotta know how to copy and paste your seed phrase and don't lose it.
Well, that's true. And even all those aspects of sort of signing up and registering, that's going to get that as we develop. That's going to get more user centric as well, etc. Yes. I guess my main point here was, as you're browsing with our browser, you're not feeling anything. It kind of feels like a regular browsing experience. It's got elements of Chrome, etc. So it is familiar. You just don't have that feeling that all your data now is on chain, and there's going to be things you can do with that. It's both secure, anonymous, and there are going to be things you can do with that to obviously get value from that. But you don't feel that while you're browsing, correct?
No, not at all.
Well, that's what the public needs. The public doesn't care about blockchain. They never will. Blockchain just has to become the basis for a Web3, and there needs to be an easy, intuitive way to access it. And guess what? There is Dissenter. Go and download it. It's as simple as that. It's access. You cannot expect the public to adopt something that it cannot access. And This is why, in my view, and this is why I've set up Dissenter, and I'm working with the company on this. The point is, there is no other access outside of Dissenter. Before and without Dissenter, there is no real way for the average user to access blockchain. After and with Dissenter is kind of the only way the mainstream users can access the blockchain. And again, my thesis is if the mainstream can access blockchain, that is the basis for a true Web3.
Yes.
I see no way around it. I see no way around that argument. And organic uptake on our browser, by the way, sort of speaks to me possibly being correct there, because we're doing okay there. Could I just say one more thing before you ask me a question?
Please.
What we're really doing here is we're creating a natively blockchain aware browser. I'll come back to that a little bit in a minute. But on this native blockchain, on this custom blockchain rather that I'm talking about, our blockchain is chain agnostic. What we wanted to do was create a blockchain, a native blockchain that could integrate with any other blockchain, to bring all these, at the moment, fairly disparate technologies. They're sort of developing certain Web3 technologies and blockchain technologies in isolation of each other to a certain extent, because that's how development works. What we wanted to do was create a chain agnostic blockchain, whereby we could integrate with any other chain, and they can integrate with us to create this Web3 foundation.
Gotcha. Okay, so people can create on Dissenter then. There's like apps and stuff like that. People can build their own products and projects on Dissenter.
That is definitely where we're headed.
Okay.
As I say, the basis of this is it had to be chain agnostic.
Yes.
It had to be chain agnostic, because you need the basis first. The browser gives you the access, but we need that basis where everybody's comfortable with coming on board with what we're doing.
Gotcha.
And remember, all the chains that come on board with what we're doing will benefit from all our DeFi features, and we will benefit from the data they're bringing into our ecosystem. That's why it's powerful and important. Yeah. And the public can access all that, because guess what? We've got a browser built on top of that.
Yeah, and yes, and it's like you're built in. I mean, you're while you're browsing, you're earning as you're browsing. Like that's so. How does that work? Do I have to like click a like or something like that, or no? I just, because I'm going and clicking on one website. Like if I'm in here, like this is a question I don't want to ask you, because I'm sure everybody asks you, but it seems to be like maybe your main competition or whatnot. But like the comparison, there's an article right here on your wall here, where it's comparing Dissenter to Brave.
Yeah, so, I've got a few things to say about that. I realize this is your show, but maybe that's the wrong question.
Okay, I mean, that's fair, but like it is the question on my mind, and quickly I'm just like, well, what are the differences? Because that's the browser that I was using before I found Dissenter, and if I'm going to jump from one to another,
But yeah,
but why from the boss's mouth?
Good. I'm going to circle back to that a little bit.
Fair enough.
But basically, today was all about a definition.
Yes.
And
But you're going to have to contain me a little bit here. You're going to have to reel me back.
It's not my show. Obviously, I
know, but I have a billion questions. Today. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why we've got 4 weeks. So everybody calm down.
Yeah. So just pull me back to week 1. I might have been at week 3 already on week 1. That was too quick.
That's what I thought, because I really had an idea, depending on community feedback. I really thought once we get sort of down with it today, as regards what the product does, and how that relates to what our product does with data, then you sort of get on to how that creates a value, and that value would probably stem from what we're going to come up with today and lead into next week, creating a great hook for your program, by the way, because people will come back. Yeah.
Great.
Leave them wanting more.
Yeah, we got that cliffhanger vibe setting up right here. I like it.
But I'm not dodging your question.
No, I know. I don't feel like you are. Yeah, and it's all good.
Braves are always going to come up. So let me give you this. Let me give you this for today. Let me give you this for today about Brave and what we're doing. Yeah, give you a little comparison.
Sure.
So let's drag it back to this idea of a blockchain-aware Web3 browser. Now that doesn't exist except for Dissenter. It does not exist, and that is a primary piece of technology we built to interact with the blockchain to give the public access to that. Okay, we've done that. We're going to keep
Excellent.
doing it until that sinks in. So have a look at this. So blockchain aware Web3 browser. What does that mean? A little bit more about that. Existing browsers like Chrome, Firefox, etc. Okay, they interact with Web3 via extensions.
Gotcha.
And because they do that, they're obviously not natively blockchain aware. So let's get to Brave. Brave, the current crypto browser of choice, you could say, Brave. It's not an actual Web3 browser. It uses ERC20 to kind of connect to a centralized wallet provider, I think, in Uphold, isn't it? So it's not a natively blockchain aware Web3 browser either. So all of these other browsers have extreme limits with what they can do with data, to save it for you. I mean, to save it for you.
Okay, now I get your tune here about the question.
Okay,
it's like
go ahead.
It isn't even. It's beneath. It's not even in. It shouldn't even be in the conversation.
Well, I
It
never
really
said.
shouldn't.
I never said that.
No, I'm saying it. I'm saying it right now. I'm
Hey,
saying. I know you didn't say that, but I mean, like real quickly, like when I did jump on, I was like, wow, okay. And then I did a little bit more exploring, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm willing to do that. Browser, like do my what is it, the tabs, integrate all my tabs over, like that's the thing nobody ever wants to do,
Exactly.
But I think I'm gonna do it. I mean, not I think, I know I'm gonna do it. I'm jumping in. I'm going full in here.
Look, we're going to sync all that stuff up anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, this is user-centric.
I
We're
can
building
feel it.
technology that is user-centric. And
Yeah.
I have to keep stressing that because a lot of the tech out there, brilliant tech, by the way, brilliant decentralized tech, blockchain tech, Web3 applications. Believe me, I've seen some stuff that is so brilliant, it would blow your mind. It hasn't even come out yet. But what is the path forward for Web3? It's not going to simply, there is a conception out there that Web3 might probably happen once the technology matures. What does that mean? That isn't exactly a plan or a strategy as to how we're going to build it. What does that mean? And are you telling me blockchain technology in 14 years isn't mature yet? There's got to be a better way to do this. There has to be a path forward to integration. And that's what we're offering with our browser, a chain agnostic blockchain. We can all come together on this.
It's badass. Yeah.
Yeah, badass. Yeah, I'll go with that. Put that on the advertising material because that's what we're really all about.
Yeah, and like to go back to the beginning of the show and our conversation, I think we were almost like overcomplicating like the reality of like it's not that complicated. Agreed. The truth of it isn't. It's like you said, it's like it's a web, it's a browser, a chain agnostic, built on a blockchain browser that you can earn from. And one thing that hasn't even come up yet is your data. Like I've got it highlighted here, but that's where I was like earlier when you're like, what's your one-liner thing? And I was like, oh God, I forgot about the whole data aspect of what we have here, and it being your data, and you being able to earn off of your data is like it's crazy to me that like trying to explain this to somebody outside of the space and how it's just like, oh, that's what.
Well, this is why I sort of, even at the beginning of the conversation, I draw a slight distinction between us coming up with a one-liner that works for an educated crowd, which is what we are here today, and what you're going to put on your sales posters. A lot of what I'm talking about here today is really going to become sub-protocols of Web3. The public doesn't really care about blockchain. It doesn't really care about, the public doesn't care about what's under the hood of a Ferrari.
Right.
You buy it for other reasons. You buy it for speed. You buy it for efficiency. You buy it for a whole lot of things. So
yeah. So it's like almost like you don't want to even like use these as the way to promote what it is. It's got to be the more funner apps. Yeah.
Yeah, it will. And so when you say browsers you earn, that's pretty much going to be on the posters, right? That's going to be on the advertising. But just until we get from A to B and get this browser to earn really in play with all the features we've got coming up, we're either using or we're developing. It's just to get to a one-liner here today that people can take away with them and say, okay, it's not there yet, but guess what? It's an actual browser that gives the mainstream access to blockchain, which by definition will create a Web3. And that's where we're at. And it'd be different if this was just an idea. But we've actually got the technology out there that you've downloaded.
Yes.
So, and even you don't notice as you browse the internet with the Dissenter browser. Even you don't notice. It's saving all your data for yourself as part of your Dissenter ID, your DEC ID, and our DeFi features will allow you to realize value from that. Now, don't ask me what those features are today.
I won't.
That's next week.
Okay,
that's next week.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So we want to keep reiterating. This is, like you say, it's simple. It's just a browser.
Yes.
It's just a browser that will give you access to Web3.
Yes.
And I guess without wanting to sound too cliched, I guess the analogy I use, and correct me if I'm wrong. This is kind of the analogy I use. Dissenter is pretty much for the creation of Web3 what Internet Explorer was for the creation of Web 2. In other words, it gave public access to the net to be able to retrieve data and store data and transfer data in a way that was intuitive for the public. And that's where the web took off.
God, how cool was Internet Explorer right in the beginning when you first saw that thing? Wasn't that amazing?
Well, that's
true. Like that's a perfect analogy to what we're looking at here.
Stick with the cool there, because imagine that. And if you want to even start looking at what it's worth and token utility, imagine if Internet Explorer had been tokenized.
Yes. Yeah. And you could get in on that. Oh my goodness gracious. That's what we're doing right now.
That's what we're doing right now. So we're trying to keep this simple. There are a lot of revenue generating opportunities and all those kind of things that we are talking about with our project, and they're going to come up in the next 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to do what even you're saying today. Keep it simple, keep it cool.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing that comes up a lot. We talk about a lot here on the show with a lot of the NFT, metaverse, play to earn game, all these they provide these collectibles, these products, but it's not the final product. You know what I mean? Like it's not finished yet. So like they're getting impatient, waiting for the actual game to come or whatnot. Or, like some people are flippers. They're trying to flip the things or whatever, like there's this whole thing that's going on, but we're talking about like a product that's like fully like operational and with DeFi capability, like it's here, it's running. And the cool thing is the simplicity of it all. It's just a browser.
Yeah, it's just a browser. It's a kick-ass browser.
That you're going to need the functionality of a browser like this, and there'll probably be more coming, copycats, whatever, coming down the line, because this is where we're going to Web3. Like that's
this is it.
We're
but
here.
you do have to ask yourself on a perspective of business defensibility, why, if this is so simple, why hasn't anyone done it before? I mean, I would have thought this is very, very straightforward and simple. It is when I sell it to you like this. So why hasn't it been done before? That's a question that needs to be answered. And if it hasn't been done before, what can anybody copy us? Can anybody come along and steal our thunder? I guess the answer to that would be, number one, we've got first mover advantage.
Yes.
And number two, simplicity is very difficult to do.
Yeah. Did you say that so far all you're doing for the most is word of mouth marketing?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point we got to, because we've only recently released our full production browser was only released just several months ago.
Yeah.
And we released it, but we knew it also needed various updates, bug checking, etc., etc., etc. So we were doing that with our community. But as we've got all that into play, everything's sort of working out. We've got new iterations where all the original bugs and problems have been sorted out. It's kind of kicking off exponentially now a little bit as we move into the marketing phase. This is part of what I'm doing here today, marketing and communications. Yeah. And that's how we're going to kick this thing off now, because it has reached that point where it is something that you can promote to a wider mainstream public.
Right.
So yeah,
Gotcha.
so far it's been word of mouth. I think we passed 10K organic users about a week ago, and now I think
Nice.
it's, even today, I think it's up to like 12K or something along those lines. So it is there, it is working out. All of this is through referrals and word of mouth. So that's looking good as well.
And is it
We're
safe to
very
say
pleased about
that is it safe to say that Rich James is somewhat the face of Dissenter? We're going to be seeing more of you. Obviously, we're going to be seeing you every week here, but will I start seeing you on other crypto shows and stuff? Are you going to be popping up representing Dissenter?
I think we're taking a vote on that now, and it's not looking good. But
Oh
yeah,
God, dang it! No, I'm in. I see.
Okay,
Yeah.
done. Okay, done. Well, you got the overriding vote.
Your
Yes.
hair's more wackier than mine, so you've got that going, and that's always good on the internet shows. You gotta have weird hair, so that's good.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Absolutely.
And basically, I in that respect, I'm going to be the face of this, because I like coming on and talking to people like you. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll talk to anybody about this forever, and I'll keep making that point. You need somebody to come on and continually make a single point that makes sense, get back to the essence. I'm quite good at that. I believe, and that's what I want to come on these shows and continue to do that. Get back to the essence, whilst also building out on the various features and functions we're developing as we develop them. Because by the time I talk to you next time, and I can't say too much, there will be more features and iterations.
Oh, wow.
Can't say too much. We're going to have to edit that down. This isn't live, right?
No, it is live.
Now I'm in trouble. I almost let the cat.
That's cool. All right, so we're gonna drop some new info next week here.
But that's what we want to do, and we want to keep the interest going by having these little hints and clues when I come on to these shows. Just a little idea about what's happening there. As I say, today was really, I felt it was kind of really an introduction to where we were coming from and what exactly it is we're doing. We're building a browser that connects you to blockchain. That's it. There's no more to it than that. And beyond that, as we do more shows, there will be more information. There'll be more updates, more exclusive content on this very show.
Yes, awesome.
That is my commitment. But yeah, expect to see a lot more of me, whether you want to or not.
Yeah,
you don't have a
great.
choice.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good to have that. You're like I said, the hair, and it's a good voice. You're a good voice, a good personality to lead the way for Dissenter. I am seeing a question here, or in the
is it from one of your community or one of ours?
I think it might be from one of my community. His name's Christian, so who knows here?
We've got a Christian in my community as well.
Okay, so who knows here?
To ask, yeah.
It's it's about Opera just released their Web3 browser. What's your say on this? I've heard of Opera. I haven't looked into it at all yet. I know it's another browser out there, but I don't know what's the difference between Dissenter and Opera.
Again, even I would have to go away and do a little bit more
look in on that.
To be honest, again, hands up. If you don't know something, don't pretend you do. I'm not.
100%.
But I will say, Opera, as far as I know, is still going to be running a centralized business model where we operate a decentralized business model.
Gotcha.
That much I do know. We're going to go into a lot more of that. That sounds like a flip pat answer. It's not. We're going to be going into a lot more of that in the coming weeks about exactly what our business model is and why the data economy we're building matters. Opera doesn't have one of those, so they're going to have to be getting revenue from somewhere else. That much I do know.
Awesome.
That's why we're unique. So again, I don't want to dodge questions, and I want to give you pat answers that I don't.
No, I don't think you. Not at all. That's fair. That's 100% fair. And just like it's the question we had out there in the audience. I said, "Fuck it, let's throw it." And
respect. Have we got any more questions?
No more questions coming in right now. Just comments.
They're probably saying, I think they're probably thinking, well, what are the comments? Is there anything about my beard? That's important to me.
No beard comments right now, unless it's really interesting is about your beard. That might be about your beard. I don't know. From MotorCard.
Okay.
Probably more talking about the project.
I'm thinking I'm thinking my ego is going to go with that one. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I thought because we had a few people coming over from our community as well. Well,
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah,
let's
well,
continue
cool,
the
man. I think we should probably wrap up our first chat here, but I'm excited to
Okay.
hear what your
I'm
new features
extremely
are
excited.
coming, and yeah, like I've really enjoyed this. Thank you for being here and
My pleasure. My
sharing
pleasure.
sharing your true self, like your true thoughts
Respect.
and vibe on
Mhm.
it all. And I can tell like you've got
Mhm.
a lot of love and passion for what you're
Respect.
working on,
I do indeed. I do
man,
indeed.
I'm with it.
Mhm.
I'm jumping on
Awesome.
the Dissenter
Yeah, I can
browser
hear that.
bandwagon. I'm excited to play with it. And by this time next week, I'll have a heck of a lot more to say, because typically,
Awesome.
like when a project comes to me, if I don't know a lot about it, I like to
Mhm.
explore it while I'm in
Mhm.
chat with you. But now I have a whole week to
Well, exactly.
dive
And that's
in.
what we said. We were talking earlier. That's what we said. You don't have to know everything. That's my job. We're just exploring one particular aspect of this now, and that was focusing that down to a one-liner. We're a
Yeah.
browser that gives you access to blockchain. That's it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I will say, if that sounds too obvious or easy, once you actually have a browser, a natively blockchain-aware browser that you integrate with a chain-agnostic blockchain, what this does, and I'm setting up the show next week. What this does is amazing things to data, because it becomes completely decentralized. And completely decentralized data, no one knows how that behaves or reacts or performs better than we do. And that's
Yeah.
where you start coming up with the other features, the DeFi features. Because remember, completely decentralized and secure data has enormous value. And if you can actually do that and extract the value from that, you have the basis for a true circular Web3 data economy. And that's what we need to talk about next week. It kind of came up this week, but I
Yeah.
stopped you.
Yes.
I said, rein it in. We've only got 30 minutes. But
Yeah.
next week, I want to go
I
through
jumped to episode 2. It's part 1. I got to stay here.
part one.
Yeah.
But so next week, what I want to do is we have a feature called personal data value, PDV. That is our primary DeFi feature. And I want to get, and a lot of people say, okay, PDV, I kind of get it. I'm kind of using it. I'm kind of benefiting from it through Browse to Earn. But tell me, what is it? What is it really? How does it work? Where does it come from? Tell me the inspiration. Tell me the future. And I think I'd like to go through that next week if you would have me back. And if
Absolutely.
you don't get any better suggestions, it might be that somebody says, forget PDV. I want to know more about this. But I'm thinking our DeFi features next week would.
Let's get into it.
I know it's going to thrill you. I think
Yes.
our
Yeah.
community is going to love it, because I've got a little bit to say about that as well. So apologies if I keep jumping in
No,
here.
man, it's great. It's great. New features coming next week. We'll
New
talk
features coming next
DeFi,
week. We'll start with
and
that, and then we'll go through how that relates to the DeFi features and how that relates to basically we've got to get this up to how you guys are going to earn off this, what you're going to make. I mean, I know you're all interested in that. We didn't do that here today because I wanted to get back to basics, but don't worry,
love
it's
it.
on the cards for next week and beyond.
Rick James, thank you so much, man. Let's do it again
Been a
next
pleasure.
week.
Yeah, been a pleasure.
Same Dissenter time, same
Same
Dissenter channel.
Love
Love
it. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show, and thank you for everybody that showed up today. Looking forward to having a chat next week.
Indeed. And if you are up in the morning or, the evening, whatever it is, it's 1 p.m. PST is the next time we go live. And tomorrow we have Bad Baby Dinos, which is a really cool NFT project. I believe they're just at Sellout. They got metaverse games, all this stuff. They're coming in to give us updates. And it's also Whelps Wednesday, which is our favorite lovely dragons, another NFT project with all sorts of crazy stuff going on with them. So they'll be joining us as well. So, all right, check us out. Thanks a lot, Rick. Well, or Rich, I want to call you Rick James every damn time.
Yeah, Rick James creates a problem when people search for me on Google Images.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
I mean, I'm just not that cool. I'm sorry. I mean,
you're cooler, man. You're cooler.
It'd take a lot of work.
All right, Rick. Rich James. Peace. Decentr, check it out. Download it so we can talk about it next week. All right, everybody.
Done.
Peace.